In this tutorial, we'll be going over the text block element, which is the element that you're going to use for the majority of your content and your text. So if you'd like to add text to one of your columns, you just go down to one of your columns and click on the element button here. This will bring up a list of all of your elements. They are in alphabetical order, so you're going to find the text block is almost all the way at the bottom. So if we click on the text block element here, what we get is a basic word processor, basically. So I'm sure most people are familiar with the controls that I'll be going over, but just kind of going over what are the different options that you have available to you. The first thing that you're going to see is the paragraph or heading selector, and this will allow you to change the text in size and whether to match the headlines on your site or match the regular text on your site. So if I typed in some text, like this is some text, and I wanted that to be a headline, then I could select heading 1, for example, and you'll see that that becomes much larger text. And you'll see the headlines on your site are already set in styling. You won't see it in this back end, but once you select a headline, it's going to bring through the color, the font type, and the size that matches the rest of the headlines on your site. And heading 1 is just the largest of those selections. If you wanted a subheading, like starting a new section on a page, you might use a different heading, such as a heading 2 or a heading 3. So for a subsection, I'll use a heading 2, and then maybe I'll add a paragraph of text underneath that, and then below that, maybe I want another heading, such as this, and then I will select heading 3. And then you can kind of see you get some order going where the first heading on a page is always the largest, which is your heading 1, and then your heading 2 is a subsection of that page, and then a heading 3 is, starting a new paragraph within a subsection. Next to that, we just have some basic image editing or text editing options, such as bold, italic, creating the text into a bolded list or a numbered list. This is all the same exact controls that is part of Microsoft Word or any other Word text editor that you've used. Block quote will create large quotes around the text and indent it slightly. And it's good for like testimonials and things like that. We also have align left, which will obviously make the text go to the left of the side of the container, center in the container, or on the right side. We also have hyperlink buttons for adding links to text. So if I wanted a link to a website, then I could select that text, click on the chain link button, and it'll ask you, okay, where would you like this link to go? So you can enter a URL here. So if you wanted it to go to Google or Amazon or something like that, you could type in your URL or copy and paste it into this box. You can also search though, and that's a search within your site. So if you wanted to link to your contact page, for example, you could search contact here, and you'll see that a list of pages that meet that search comes up, and the first one is contact us. And so if we click on contact us, it's automatically going to fill in that URL for us. Once you've filled in your URL, you can just click on the apply button, and that link will get added to that text. And if you need to remove that link, that's what the broken chain link button is for. And so we can actually just click remove a link here, and it'll get rid of that hyperlink on the text. Next to that, we have the insert read more tag. Read more tag is basically if you have a very long paragraph of text and you wanted to shorten it. If you highlight all the text and then click that tag, it'll only show the first part of the first paragraph, and then there'll be a little read more button underneath. And if the user clicks on that read more button, then it will expand that text and show the entire paragraph. Next to that, we have the full screen editing, which will just make this editor here into the size of your full screen of your computer. Next to that, we have the toolbar toggle. This is really important because it's actually not on by default. So most of the time when people start using the page editor and the text block element, they'll only see this first line of options. So just make sure that you always click the toolbar toggle, and it'll give you some more basic text editing options. Underneath that, in the toolbar toggle, we have strike through for putting a strike through your text. a horizontal line for sectioning off your text. We have text color, so if you want to put a text color on something, you can highlight the text and bring up the color wheel. You can also do a custom color here, or you can also enter a hex value if you know what the color is that you want to use. So for example, if I wanted some red color, I could select it there, and if I want to get rid of it, I can reselect it and hit this little X button. Next to that, we have paste as text and clear formatting. These are important buttons because basically paste as text allows us to bring through text without the formatting. So for example, if you're going to copy and paste from a Word document, or you're going to copy and paste from a PDF file into this box, the first thing that you want to do is click on this paste as text. And that means that the formatting that's part of that Word document or that PDF file won't come through. If you don't click on that, what will happen is the font type, like if you have Arial selected in Microsoft Word, then the Arial font will come through into the text block element. Also font sizes, italics, all formatting options basically. And that many times doesn't match what we're using on the website. And so what I recommend to most people is if you're going to do a lot of copying and pasting from those types of documents, that you use this button. If you do accidentally add a bunch of text in though, without clicking on that button, and you find yourself with a whole page full of content, but it all has weird formatting, you can actually select all of your text and click this little eraser button, and that'll clear out the formatting on that text. So if you do forget, it's not a big deal. You can just make sure to use this clear formatting button. Next to that, we have special characters. This is our copyrights and registered marks and a bunch of other different symbols that if you want to use those, you can. We also have decrease and increase indent. So if you want the text to come away from the edge of the area, you can increase and decrease the indent there. And then we also have our awesome undo and redo buttons. And those are always useful just in case you make a mistake. Finally, we also have this add media button up here, and that actually allows us to add images right into the text flow. Now in my other tutorial, I had gone over image frames and image carousels, which are very useful, especially if you don't want text wrapping around your image. But if you do want text wrapping around your image, then you can actually add media right directly into this text block. And so if I wanted to, I could click on add media, and I could select a photo, and I could select a size for that photo, and I could insert it right into the flow of my page. So that's about it for the text block element. I guess one more thing to mention is these two tabs on the right hand side. Always make sure you're in the visual mode, or you will see some of the formatting and code that's going on in the background. And so if you find yourself looking at some gibberish, just make sure you click on the visual tab, and that'll give you the best display possible for managing your text blocks. Before you navigate away from a text block, always make sure that you save, because if you hit cancel, you're going to lose all of the work that you were just working on. So if I save here, you'll see a visual representation of that text block element inside the column that we just created. So that's about it for the text block.